So Kate Schloman is next, and she will be performing our second prose of the evening, again, the book event. This one is titled Everything, Everything.
Wow, this really is some room. Yeah, my mom built it so I could feel like I was outside. Does it work? Most days, I have a really excellent imagination. Wow, you really are a fairy tale. Princess Madeline and the Glass Castle. He's quiet again, like he's trying to build up to something. It's okay to ask me, I say. He's wearing a single black rubber band around his wrist, and he pulls at it a few times before continuing. How long have you been sick? My whole life. What would happen if you went outside? My head would explode, or my lungs, or my heart. How can you joke? I shrugged. How can it not? Besides, I try not to want things I can't have. You're like a Zen master. You should teach a class. I smile back at him. It takes a long time to learn. The boy in the plastic bubble has SCID, severe combined autoimmune deficiency disorder. Maddie's mom is convinced that Maddie has this disease as well, so no one is allowed to see her. However, the next door neighbor Ollie sneaks in because he's fascinated by The Girl in the Bubble. Everything, Everything by Nicole Yoon. I hesitate in the doorway. His eyes don't leave my face. Does he feel the same urge to occupy the same space, to breathe the same air that I do? I linger at the threshold of the room, uncertain. I could go to his traditional spot next to the wall. I could stay right here in the doorway. I could tell him that we shouldn't push my luck, but I can't. And more than that, I don't want to. Should I move? He stretches the rubber band taut between his thumb and index finger. I don't know, I say. He nods and begins to rise. No, wait, I say. He lets the rubber band snap against his wrist, his shoulders releasing a tension I didn't realize he'd been holding. Now we're next to each other, thighs touching, forearms warm against each other, my shoulder pressing into his upper arm, my skin, each individual cell lights up. Normal, non-stick people get to do this all the time. How do they survive the sensation? How do they keep from touching? His breath is warm, and then his lips are brushing, butterfly soft, against mine. My eyes close on their own. The romantic comedies are right about this part. You have to close your eyes. He pulls away, and my lips are cold. Am I doing it wrong? My eyes fly open and crash into the darkening blue of his. He kisses me like he's afraid to continue, and he's afraid to stop. I grip the front of his shirt and hold on tight. My butterflies are rioting. There's not enough room, let's go. He stops himself, mid-sentence. Crap, Maddie, stop, I say. I stand up and I hold a hand out. I say this harshly, but it's too important a point. I could not stand pity coming from him. He nods, flicks his rubber band, and lets it go. We remain that way, sliding between certainty and uncertainty and back again, until we hear Carla's approach and are forced to part. I am made. I am unmade. Before Carla arrives the next morning, I spent exactly 13 minutes in bed, convinced I am getting sick. It takes her exactly 6 to unconvince me. She takes my temperature, blood pressure, heart and pulse rates before declaring that I am simply lovesick. Classic symptoms, she says. I am not in love. I cannot be in love. And why not? What would be the point, I say, throwing my hands up? Me in love would be like being a food critic with no taste buds. It would be like being a colorblind painter. It would be like skinny dipping by yourself. I have to laugh at that one. Exactly, I say, pointless. Not pointless, she says and looks at me seriously. Just because you can't experience everything doesn't mean you shouldn't experience anything. Besides, doomed love is a part of life. I'm not in love, I say again, and you're not sick, she retorts. So there's nothing to worry about. Once upon a time, there was a girl whose entire life was a lie. I'm in an endless field filled with red poppies. The poppies reach waist high on single green stalks and are so red they seem to bleed color. In the distance I see one ollie, and then 2, and then multiple ollies marching toward me, then wearing gas masks and holding handcuffs and crushing poppies under black booted feet as they march toward me, silent and determined. The dream doesn't leave me. I drifted the day. Awake, but dreaming, trying not to think of Ollie. I try not to think of seeing him for the first time, how he seemed like he was from another planet. I try not to think about butt cakes and headstands and kisses and velvet sand and how 2nd and 3rd and 4th kisses are just as amazing as the first ones. I try not to think of him because if I do, I'll have to think of how I fooled myself into thinking I was a miracle, of how the world I wanted to be a part of so badly did not want me back. I've learned my lesson. I have to let Ollie go. Love can kill you, and I'd rather be alive than out there living. I once told Ollie that I knew my own heart better than I knew anything else. And it's still true. I know all the places in my heart, but the names have changed. Thank you.